The beauty for me is this is the power I have. It allows me to dictate. It allows me to dictate.
Hey everybody, it's James Freeman, and today I want to talk about the elected sheriffs throughout the state of New Mexico who are speaking out against the governor's unconstitutional order saying that she wants to outlaw the carry of all firearms in the state of New Mexico. Elected sheriffs throughout the state, including Bernalillo County Sheriff John Allen, are saying that they won't enforce the order. John Allen even held a press conference today to let the public know that he won't enforce the order. During the press conference, he articulates that the reason he won't uphold it is because it's blatantly unconstitutional on its face, and that he swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. But I would urge you as a people to stop listening to his BS lip service and pay attention to what he's actually saying. He has now publicly admitted that he knows that the governor's order is blatantly unconstitutional on its face. He's also publicly admitted that he swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution against all enemies, Democrat and foreign and domestic. Now that oath doesn't just say, I personally won't violate the Constitution. It says, I will uphold and defend the Constitution. That means it's not just his duty not to enforce this rule, but it is his duty to arrest anyone who does. Now, I understand that this is a very difficult position for him to be in because we've been told that it will be state police officers who will enforce this. That makes it the sheriff's duty to arrest and charge state police officers. Now, I'm not saying this is an easy position to be in, and I do not envy his position, but I am not the one who swore the oath to do this. He is. I believe it's time for each and every one of us to reach out to him and tell him that is enough of your political BS and your lip service. It is time for you to act and actually uphold your oath and actually defend the Constitution rather than sitting by and watching while others destroy it. And if you're not going to uphold the oath, at least go back into the courtroom and write a new oath to swear to, such as, I swear not to violate the Constitution myself, but I swear to sit idly by while others do. Now I want to address the entire law enforcement community that was present at the governor's address, who said that they didn't agree with her executive order, but who still sat around the table with her. I sit around tables all the time with people I don't completely agree with. Just this weekend, I sat with some people who believed that Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham only deserves 1 year in prison for this, while others believe she deserves 5 years, others believe she deserves 10 years, and others will seek the death penalty. And while we all disagreed on exactly what the consequence should be for the governor, we did all agree that everyone should be entitled to a fair trial in front of a jury of their peers, and that Governor Grisham should be entitled to this as well. Now, had there been a single person at the table that decided that they wanted to carry out punishment without due process that every one of us are entitled to, myself and many others would have stood right up and walked out, because that's wrong. Because sitting at a table and discussing things with people that we disagree with is a good thing. But sitting around a table showing support for somebody who is claiming that they are going to intentionally and maliciously violate the rights of every single person in the entire state without due process is something completely different. You don't even sit down and entertain a person who wants to bring something like this to the table. You get up and you walk out. And if you don't, you're showing the world by your actions rather than your words that you are okay with it. Not a single law enforcement official at that table got up and walked out, and every one of them knew what was written in that order. Not a single law enforcement official at that press conference table spoke out against the governor. Not until a few days later, after major backlash from around the entire nation, did these law enforcement officials start speaking up. You are supposed to be leaders. You are supposed to be the first to say no, not the last. But still, they've taken the coward's way out by saying that they personally won't violate your rights, but they'll certainly sit by and watch while others do. To any law enforcement officer in the state of New Mexico who wants to talk about their oath without acting, I say shut up and sit down until you've got the governor in custody and any state police officers who have chosen to enforce this. Because I, for one, am sick and tired of hearing you talk about what you're going to do to uphold your oath while actually sitting there and doing nothing. Now, I do understand that actually upholding your oath here would require more courage than most men in this entire world have. But if you weren't ready to have that courage, then maybe you shouldn't have sworn that oath in the first place. And if you're not ready to have that courage now, maybe you need to step down. At the end of her address, the governor specifically articulated that she cannot be an effective dictator unless there are men and women who are willing to carry out her orders without question. Just like every other dictator in the history of humanity, she cannot carry out tyranny on her own. She needs your help.
The beauty for me is this is the power I have. It allows me to dictate. I can do all the public health orders and all the emergency orders I want. And if I don't have men and women who are willing to come out of retirement, who stay in their jobs, who deal with unimaginable resource limitations, who have a growing criminal element, who are at risk every single day, we have no hope. But they get up every day. And if they can get up every day and do this work, I can execute a tough, broad, sweeping challenge.
She jumbles her words around quite a bit, but if you watch the address, her point was that she personally is too cowardly to try to carry out this tyranny on her own. She admitted herself that she needs law enforcement officers to violate their oath, or she has no power. To New Mexico law enforcement, I ask, will you empower the world's next dictator, or will you arrest her?